U.S. Supreme Court draft opinion on Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization was leaked last night, stating a majority opinion would strike down the current federal abortion law set forth by Roe versus Wade in 1973. Kiara Brown gives us insight into what that means and how some people feel about it.
Roe v. Wade was a decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in 1973 that protects a pregnant woman's freedom to choose to have an abortion without government restrictions. More than 20 states have laws that could restrict abortions if Roe v. Wade is overturned. North Dakota is one of about a dozen states, including South Dakota, that have trigger laws that would ban abortions completely if the case were officially overturned. North Dakota's legislature has routinely supported anti-abortion measures. Places like Dakota Hope and Minot offer services for pregnant women looking for resources.
There are other options besides abortion, and many women find that those options are very good for them on a long-term basis. I think that either way, no matter if it's overturned or not, there's still going to be a need for help for women who find themselves in stressful circumstances where they feel the need to think about abortion.
Although the leaked draft was in favor of overturning the case, a final decision has not been made. In a statement, the Supreme Court confirmed the authenticity of the leaked document, but noted that it does not represent a decision. According to the draft, the majority vote would overturn the federal Constitution right to abortion, which is said to cause transformation in women's reproductive health in America. The leaked draft sparked protest with abortion activists, and opinions on the case have been circulating nationwide.
For me, myself, and others, I'm pro-choice, personally.
I think that we should be doing more to kind of help women so they don't have to have abortions. And I think that a lot of this legislation is trying to go in the right direction with that, so I'm okay with it.
Sometimes you are not ready for the baby, and you might not be financially ready even if you're married, so I think it shouldn't be banned.
According to a statement from the Supreme Court obtained by KX News, draft opinions are routine and an essential part of courts' confidential deliberation work. For KX News in Minot, I'm Kiara Brown.
Governor Doug Burgum is also commenting on the prospect of the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. In a statement provided to KX News, Governor Burgum says his administration has consistently supported pro-life legislation, and he welcomes the prospect of the issue being returned to the state.